This is why we came to Namibia. For the past few days, we've been traveling through some of the most beautiful landscapes we have ever seen. From otherworldly rock formations to steep mountain passes to Namibia's iconic red sand dunes. This road trip continues to blow us away. And yet, when we talk about this journey with other people, one of the most asked questions we get is, but is Namibia safe? As always, the answer to that question is not straightforward. We're moving through some pretty remote areas where medical or road assistance might be hours away, and cell phone reception sometimes just disappears. In a country as sparsely populated as Namibia, you will often just be completely alone in an endless desert. But as we get to know this fascinating environment more and more, our perspective on safety seems to change. Is traveling through Namibia safe? That might be the wrong question. The right question is, are you prepared? A couple of things that we always make sure we have here in the desert. We are driving through a part of Namibia that we will always remember as one of the most unique places on Earth. An ever-changing landscape, offering a new view every 10 minutes. How is that real? It's like right next to your face.
Yeah.
At this moment, we are driving away from Namibia's most famous spot. This very morning, we made the journey to the Deadvlei, a 900-year-old tree graveyard surrounded by the most mind-blowing landscape. With the red sand dunes as our most southern destination, we are now making our way north towards a coastal town that we end up not really liking. But since that is a lot of ground to cover and it's not advised to drive at night in Namibia, we are on a mission to find a closer sleeping spot for the night. In this stretch of the country, there are some really cool desert towns and other pockets of civilization dotted along long, lonely roads. A camp spot? That's a little harder to find. But on this day, we got very lucky.
Yeah, I just said to Marola, it just feels like you're in a movie. It's just like the backdrop is just...
It looks like we found a crazy stunning campsite for the night.
Oh no, they flipped over.
And we can get to know the desert a little bit better again. But being alone in the desert also comes with its downsides. What's happening?
I mean, now it's again not working, but like I've been trying to tell our friends and family where we are, and the only place where I had internet was while sitting on the toilet, nowhere else. I walked once around the building and I don't have any reception anywhere else, except for on this toilet.
In our modern age, being without internet or cell phone reception is a rare event.
Trying to send our location to anyone, but it's not gonna go through. I think we're like in the middle of nowhere and it's just beautiful, but can't let family know you're safe. I think this is gonna be amazing tonight. I'm gonna set up the Insta, hopefully for a star lapse. Let's see, maybe I'll be able to put that up here.
But to be honest, we started to enjoy the silence it brought with it. Especially because this kind of remoteness and absence of other people makes space for a spectacle at night.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh shit, I accidentally shined at the neighbors.
It's only our 5th day in this country. But when you're camping somewhere else every night, you quickly get into a routine that prepares you for the road. We make breakfast, close down our roof tent, sand, and then play Tetris with our gear in the back of our car. Packing up your house every morning can feel a bit like an annoying chore. But when you really think about it, it's this part of the day where some important checks are made that will keep us good for the journey that's about to come.
I mean, why does it not fit?
Every morning when we leave, it takes a little bit of organization.
It's supposed to be black. I don't know if you can see it in the video. It's just full of dust.
Yeah.
We're told keep the window open because otherwise there will be dust in there. So we left it open and we drive through the desert. And of course, it's full of sand.
We need to de-dust soon. Even
Dust
though
too.
we're still gonna drive through desert today, so maybe it will just dust up again. Wait, the chairs come on top still. So we have 2 food bags. This is the breakfast bag. We have tea, porridge, a whole bunch of tofu, all that kind of stuff. And the other one has some milks, olive oil, and some carbs, you know, like couscous, pasta, because you want things that cook quickly, you know, before you run out of gas. What else? Yeah, and then there's 3 boxes here that store like pots and pans, cutlery, bowls, other tools like that. And as you saw, table and chairs in the back. And then this is the fridge. Super nice. It can run off-grid for about 2 days. So even if we camp for 2 nights and don't move the car for a day, it will stay charged. And that's really crucial. You have nice cold water, some perishables. Sometimes at night I like meal prep extra food so that I can store that in a container and then we have lunch while we drive, like leftover lunch, which is a couple of things that we always make sure we have here in the desert or in more remote regions is water.
And the name tag.
What else do we stock up on? Fuel. I like to keep the water accessible, you know, in the side doors and not in the back canopy, because then you can easily fill up your bottle when you stop. Some snacks, you know, in the front during the drive. And we also regularly check the tire pressure.
Yeah.
I would say these are like the basic things you need to check, right?
Yeah, especially the tire pressure. It's also important because depending on the road you're driving on, you need different tire pressure. So we drove with 1.8 for like 200k, and then another 100k to Deadvlei and back, and then the guy was like, I asked him to check it, put it up to 1.8 again. It was at 1.5, so it really deflated without us doing anything. From like we went from 2.2 to 1.5 within like 2 days. 20 liters. That gives us about 200k extra range. Like, I mean, we use 10.6 liters per 100k, so it's a bit under 200 kilometers, maybe like 120 miles or something.
Yeah, and then the other one. I have to put on sunscreen. Could this work like this if you want to talk about the tires?
Yeah, of course.
Ow!
Tripod has come in very handy.
Look at this. Yeah.
Oh, what an angle.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
Look at these tires. These tires are just such beasts, right? Like, if you look at the terrain we have gone through, you know, gravel, loose sand, sharp rocks, bigger rocks, potholes, uneven roads, and it just handles it all. It's just insane.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that we have this car. And this car, a car like this is necessary here.
Yeah, depending on what you do, but for what we did, it was very handy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I can drive this in an Opel Corsa, but
Sure. This car is so strong, it could pull another car out of the sand if you had to. And it has 4-wheel drive functions, so you can get yourself... Ah, the beetle!
I was hoping it would walk on you again.
These beetles are
always put
so curious and friendly.
Yeah. And whenever you come too close, they put their head down like that.
Nice cacti.
Thanks, yeah. I grew them myself. It's one of the prettiest places I've ever been to.
Right?
I think, yeah, it's amazing. So happy.
What did you think of this campsite?
Yeah, I think this was great again. Similar to Lake Ono, right?
Yeah. Just hearing the sounds of nature at night. So peaceful and beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
And now we're leaving.
Now we're leaving back to the ocean. I'm curious if we're gonna see like desert meets ocean. That would be nice.
Let's find out.
Yeah, it's fine.
And just like that, we're out on the gravel again, heading towards the coast this time, knowing that we won't see many other people, but that we can trust our powerful car. But she has an imperfection. Soon after we left Windhoek, we noticed a small star in the front windshield, and we're hoping to get it fixed in Swakopmund. Until then, we hope the windshield lasts through this extremely bumpy road. It will be a dusty 3-hour drive that will inevitably turn into 5 because there is so much cool stuff along the way.
I feel like this is the third location where I have been at the Tropic of Capricorn, but I don't remember where. I remember I was in Australia and then somewhere else. I feel like I have to check the map because I remember seeing the tropic. Almost the Tropic of Cancer. It's the other one.
What is the Tropic of Capricorn?
I'll tell you that in a second. I just wanna. Actually, I don't remember. The furthest towards or away from it, depending on where you are in the year.
Isn't it just a latitude?
It is a latitude,
Okay.
yeah, but it's like a particular latitude. You know?
Yeah,
Otherwise, everything, everywhere you are is one latitude.
Yeah, but that's how people will maybe get it.
Yeah. All right, so latitude. I'm gonna walk past it.
Could have closed the door. There he goes.
I feel like the last time I did that walking was maybe in 2013, so it's been 12 years.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's maybe unspectacular for most people, but for me this is very special.
I find it insane how much variety of landscape there is in this country.
Yeah.
Like behind every bend there is like another type of, I think I've said this before, but I cannot believe what this country has to offer, you know?
Yeah.
Everything is different. It's just like a combination of different planets or something. One hour into the ride, Namibia looks completely different again. The landscape becomes increasingly hilly, then rocky, and we come across little bridges like this, where you hope no one is speeding in the opposite direction. Being this alone on what feels like endless stretches of sand, makes your mind go places it can't easily reach in the busy everyday life that is usually full of distractions. It makes you kind of philosophical.
Yeah, I was just thinking yesterday about like luck and skill and what it means to get into like these lucky positions. And I just think a term that I really like, concept of serendipity. From what I understand, it's basically to get into like lucky positions. It's not just luck, it's also the fact that you put yourself into the positions to get lucky, you know, and you are prepared to also take the chances when you're presented with them, you know. There's been so many times in my life where I'm like, wow, this is an amazingly lucky moment, but it's like, if I didn't spend years and years learning computer science, being like a young nerd, learning how to program like at age 12 and just being fascinated with computers, and then opening myself up to like an insanely broad amount of skills, I wouldn't have been in the position to apply for the jobs that require exactly the things that I learned, you know. Coming from very little money to now being able to live the life I have always dreamed of having, maybe with a little bit more comfort, but I mean, we're slowly getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, luck always plays a role, you know, but like, you also need to be ready to put yourself into the position to strike when the chance arises, and to also have the skills when the chance comes. I think why I thought about this concept yesterday was the fact that like we were able to take some amazing footage and all of these places, and especially like yesterday the Milky Way shot. This is something I've been looking forward to basically my whole life. When I was like a little kid, I always wanted to have like a telescope, and now seeing that was amazing, but actually being able to take good footage of that just took like 20-30 times that I tried, and I didn't get anything in the footage, you know. I didn't know where to look, I didn't know how to set up my camera, you know, preparing the gear like the Insta360 and setting all these things up gave us the opportunity to capture this. And I was really happy seeing like Earth rotate and the Milky Way rise and especially set over the horizon. I guess that is just about taking chances while traveling too. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Hitting an asphalt road again a couple hours later hinted that we were nearing civilization again. We've made it to the western edge of Namibia, where desert meets ocean. And after 5 days in the dry heat and sand, seeing this much water again was kind of unsettling.
Damn, this is so weird.
Is that an oil platform, you think?
Maybe.
We reached Swakopmund and got our window crack sealed. But after a cold night at the coast, we left early again the next day to reunite with the desert. We already missed her. And to be honest, it wasn't difficult to leave civilization behind again. There is definitely safety in numbers. But out here, feeling safe cannot always be about people. The desert doesn't care who you are. It just asks if you're ready. But were we?
Oh my god. How is this?
But we left that behind really quickly. This is Marola Ali from 3 months in the future. And me and this stray cat want to tell you that if you like this video, consider subscribing and leaving us a like or a comment with your thoughts, because that really helps us get into the YouTube algorithm.
Meow.
Yeah, or like a bit
Yeah,